All right, awesome. So the premise of this post is getting your LinkedIn posts to go viral, or your LinkedIn publisher posts to go viral. So the idea was sparked recently because one of my recent LinkedIn publisher posts went viral and got significantly more engagement than ever before. Before I had been, kind of in the mid to high hundreds for my best posts. The average post out of 40 that I've published on LinkedIn was in like the kind of low hundreds in terms of views. And my most recent one is currently sitting around 2,500 views, kind of thing. It's in the hundreds of likes, tons of shares and comments as well. So this kind of got me thinking, well, a lot of people out there use LinkedIn Publisher, and I'm sure there's a lot of aspects of LinkedIn Publisher that people may not be fully aware of, or best practices that they could potentially use to get more visibility and engagement with their post. Because the last thing anybody wants is to spend time and energy on a LinkedIn Publisher post that's awesome and doesn't get read by anyone. And so in this modern day of sales, we need to be valuable resources to our buyer, and part of that is, of course, thought leadership. Now, sharing content with your marketplace will get you so far in the minds of your buyers in terms of positioning yourself as an expert, but to really take it to the next level, just like the Tony Robbins, the Bill Gates, the Richard Bransons of the world, you need to be putting out your own thought leadership into the marketplace. And so that's where LinkedIn Publisher really becomes in, because now it's the very easy to use blogging platform for the average individual who now can very quickly go from a rather small network and following to a viral visibility, right? And that's the kind of modern day that we live in. So with that in mind, what I've done is researched the success of my recent post, as well as some LinkedIn Publisher best practices to compile the secrets of LinkedIn Publisher. Now, I'd love to say that there is one secret that you could use to make your post go viral. Of course, the reality is that's not the case. It's really a combination of a lot of different successes. So first off is around audience relevance, making sure that your posts are relevant to your network, your followers, your target market, and keeping in mind that certain topics will be more engaging and more viral than others, right? Being able to write a viral post also comes from knowing your marketplace and understanding what they deem as valuable. What are their pain points? What are their challenges? What are the hot trends and topics going on in the marketplace right now? If you can touch on these with your overall post topic, and in specific your title, then you have a much better chance of getting good engagement with your audience. Which brings us to, obviously, then the title. Now, in general, we want to follow blogging best practices. They also apply to LinkedIn Publisher. So rather than going, and this is a side note, rather than going too full in depth with blogging best practices, what we may want to do is just backlink to a previous post on blogging best practices that we've got. But the high level is, of course, a catchy title, something that's going to grab attention, something that provokes curiosity, maybe even a little bit of controversy at times. Utilizing questions over statements, having keywords in both your title and your post. All of these kind of normal blogging best practices apply to LinkedIn and are also going to help you get better engagement. Of course, a nice visual image. So LinkedIn Publisher allows you to post an image, make sure that you have permission to do so. This is obviously a side note because nobody who uses LinkedIn Publisher actually has permission to use their posts or pictures, very rarely. But this would be a good time to just kind of plug a like an iStock photo, kind of if you're having trouble either making or sourcing an image that you can use, there's always stock photos available. We can plug one there, and then that way we're being kosher with what we're recommending, rather than just saying go to Google Images and steal somebody's photo, which we don't want to be seen as doing. So a nice punchy image, something that again is visually appealing and maybe even has a little bit of shock factor. Can really help. So, for instance, my recent post that went viral, and we can kind of link to it in this post. Why prospects will never call you back had a picture of like a shattered telephone, effectively, right? And it was kind of going for that visual shock factor to kind of grab people's attention, and the picture also nicely correlated with the title and the idea of the post. So, good idea to do that. Distribution is really important. So, once you have finished your post, above and beyond just simply publishing it to LinkedIn Publisher, you want to make sure that you also post it to additional social channels. So, it's not a bad idea to either share your post manually with Facebook, with Twitter, and even with your LinkedIn network on multiple occasions. What I personally did when I published my LinkedIn Publisher post, I shared it initially to LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and then with the use of Hootlet, which is a free sharing tool, for the benefit of everyone in the post. I know obviously you know what Hootlet is. I then actually scheduled my post to go out 2 more times to my social network over the next week, to LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter simultaneously at different times. So they would go out, I published it today, it would then go out 2 days from now at a different time of day, and then 3 days after that at a different time of day, and again, just to kind of keep the visibility up. So the distribution of your post is very important. Now, at this point in time, it makes sense to discuss also LinkedIn distribution, because the difference between LinkedIn Publisher, where you're just simply writing your post, and LinkedIn Pulse is your article is getting picked up by LinkedIn and shared with the community on LinkedIn under a certain category. So when you are sharing your posts, it's important that you pick appropriate tags. You can choose up to 3 tags with your post. Let me see actually which ones I chose for my recent post. So for instance, if your post is about sales, you may want to pick a tag like sales effectiveness, sales training, and maybe even social selling. You get to pick 3. There's not a lot of guidance around which ones you should pick and which ones are best. I'd recommend a bit of a trial and error approach. So, try out maybe 2 or 3 tags, see if you get some good visibility and engagement. If you do, maybe mix up one on your next post. If you don't, switch them up and try different tags, because it's very difficult to know which ones are really going to get you the best engagement. It's also so the secrets behind LinkedIn's algorithm, as usual, are proprietary, right? We're never going to know exactly what LinkedIn's algorithm is to determine what's a high value post that is deemed worthy of pulse, that can significantly increase your post visibility. So above and beyond just your network and a subset of your network being notified when you publish a new post, if your article is picked up by Pulse, it then gets pushed to significantly higher number of LinkedIn users through the categories on LinkedIn Pulse, and can also be added to the LinkedIn homepage, and can be distributed through LinkedIn Pulse emails as well. So there's a huge amount of potential additional distribution, and you'll typically know this happens when your views start going into the thousands instead of the tens or the hundreds. That typically means that you've been picked up on some LinkedIn Pulse channel. So the tags that I used on my most recent successful post were social selling, sales, and prospecting skills. So that's distribution, covered tagging. Your settings of your account and your public profile are very important for visibility. So making sure that in the back-end settings of your account, and we can kind of link to, I think we can probably link back to a couple of these kind of LinkedIn publisher best practices things here for more in-depth information. But it's really important to make sure that your public profile on LinkedIn is not only fully visible, but that it's also got LinkedIn publisher posts available on it as well. That way you're maximizing your audience. So people who may just be not even LinkedIn users, but just searching on Google will be able to find not only your profile, but also your LinkedIn publisher posts as well. So it'll kind of increase your potential audience and the distribution of your post as well. Next up, we've got timing. Timing of your post is very important. You want to share out your posts at, or rather publish your post originally at a time when your audience is most likely to engage with it, right? So there's no point in publishing your LinkedIn publisher post at 12:30 or 1 a.m. at night, because not many people are going to be on LinkedIn at that time in your market and in your network, and therefore your post will not get very good visibility engagement. If, however, you publish your post maybe first thing in the morning, say 8 or 8:30, then it's got time to resonate with your audience when some of them are likely to log into social media, and then your post will also get nice longevity of engagement through the day, making it more likely for it to go viral. So that would be a recommendation. Publishing your post either at early in the day or potentially around lunchtime. For us, we're East Coast time. So for us, if I publish my post at just before lunchtime, I'm actually maximizing my visibility with anyone in the Eastern time zone who is logging in at lunchtime to LinkedIn, and as well as the West Coast, where we have a huge amount of our audience as well, because it's first thing in the morning for them. So that's actually when I published my most recent post. I published it just prior to lunchtime Eastern time to capture the attention of both marketplaces at once. So timing is very important when you're getting virality. Next we have engagement. So it's very important that as people start to engage with your post, you engage back. So if people like your post, or more importantly, if people comment and share on your post, engaging back with them. So liking of your post is a great opportunity to spark up conversation with them. You know that they read the post, that they enjoyed it, that they engaged with it. And it's a great opportunity to potentially add people to your network who have engaged with your post on the premise that you can stay in touch on future pieces of similar awesome content. With people who share your content, it's a great idea, and the amazing part about the analytics, and we can kind of put engagement and analytics together, I think, in one kind of heading. The amazing part about the analytics of LinkedIn Publisher is that they're quite detailed. So I'll actually show you not only the amount of views that you're getting on a daily basis, as well as where a lot of your traffic is coming from. So for instance, it'll show you types of industries, it'll show you where traffic is coming from. For instance, LinkedIn, Google search, Facebook. My post had a nice kind of healthy distribution of all of the different channels. And let me just double check here. Recent post. So of my total traffic at this point in time of 2,235 views, 90% of it came from LinkedIn, 6% of it came from Facebook, 3% of it came from homepage, and 1% from Google search. So, it's helpful to kind of see those metrics and then be able to increase your capability with certain. For instance, I for a long time wasn't sharing my LinkedIn Publisher post to Facebook, and then I tried it out once, and I saw that between 5 to 10% of my overall traffic was actually coming from my Facebook network, which is a significant chunk of traffic. So I made sure that all future posts I was disseminating to Facebook as well. And so with engagement, it's very important that as your post starts to pick up and people start to share your posts and comment on your posts, that you engage back, because what that's going to do is continually reshare your article with their network and yours, right? If somebody shares your post and then nothing happens with their share, it kind of dies on the vine quite quickly. But if somebody shares your post and then 6 hours later or 12 hours later, you like and comment on their share, it puts that back up at the top of people's home screen again within that individual's network. So it's going to kind of continue to get your post more visibility, and all of the backlinks that are out there in the marketplace and all over LinkedIn and social, as you engage with them again and again, is going to continually increase the visibility of those shares. Likewise with comments. When people comment on your post, not only is it important to engage them back, to engage in dialogue, to answer questions, to comment back, to share views and insights, it's also important from a virability standpoint, because similar to shares, when you write a comment back, that's again going to appear as an update potentially in that individual's network as well as your own network, that you commented back on their comment. So all of these things can create significantly more visibility. So the long story short is, as people engage with your post, engage back with them, because again, it'll just increase the amount of kind of visibility of the backlinks out there in the marketplace that can drive back to your post. And then we've got a call to action. So it's really important in your blog posts that you include a call to action. Now, it's important that you're not overly promotional. You want your content to focus on being very value-driven rather than promoting a specific product or service of yours. You really want to kind of kill them with kindness, right? As the saying goes, value, 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 value. And then ultimately this individual will see your expertise, deem you as valuable, and potentially gravitate towards doing business with you. So that's the idea with LinkedIn Publisher. Rather than a platform for being overly promotional, it's important that that you focus on value for your marketplace, and where you can kind of create a happy medium there, rather than being very forward and wordy about promotion of your services or products, or potentially webinars or ebooks that your company has. What you can do is include a nice visual call to action. And so as a side note here, we can just put in, a screenshot of my call to action, for instance. The idea with a call to action is that it's a nice kind of visual way to drive people to a next step. So for instance, if people liked my post and they were reading my post, right in the middle of my post rather than at the end of it, I included a call to action to drive them towards the pre-ordering of our new book, which just launched this week, right? So, and likewise in past posts, I've done that, advertising webinars, advertising ebooks, next pieces of valuable content which will drive people to our website and or our landing page, where they can start interacting with more of our content, learn more about what we do, and in that process we can also begin to sort of capture some of their interaction with our material. So the call to action is really important, because otherwise you're likely just kind of educating your marketplace for free, right? And while educating your marketplace is a very good idea, you don't want to be doing it entirely for free, in the sense of, yes, of course, there's no monetary gain directly from your post, but you want to create a very logical next step for people who are engaged and liked your post. If people really enjoyed your post, why not advertise a next post or an ebook or webinar, something in the next stage of the buying journey that they can then look to kind of continue engaging with your company. And so that's the idea here, that monetarily, the post is free. But in terms of next steps, where these individuals are going to go next, lead them to a next step, a logical progression, something of similar context and value, utilizing a nice visual call to action. Now, in this post, and this is a side note, in this post, do you think it makes sense going into the actual tactics of how to put in a call to action? Like the one I've...
Is it not really intuitive?
Not that intuitive.
Oh, really?
No, so we could just do a quick side note here, like a quick tactical blurb. The way that you input a call to action here, like this, first off you input an image, and then you hyperlink that image. So it's kind of two-step process. You upload the image, and then you highlight that image, and you add a hyperlink to it. And so I think giving people a quick kind of walkthrough of how to do that would be helpful, because I don't think a lot of people actually recognize how to how to link an image.
Cool.
So we can just flesh out that explanation a little bit more in the post itself, and then. I think that's largely it. One of the things you want to do is make sure that you're avoiding being seen as spam. If you and this probably actually goes under distribution, but be cognitive of not blasting out your LinkedIn publisher post to too many LinkedIn groups, for instance. If you send your LinkedIn publisher post to more than 2 groups, LinkedIn algorithm may actually then deem your post as spam and not actually give it additional visibility or promote it at all. So while you're in the process of trying to get additional visibility, you're actually hurting your distribution and visibility, because LinkedIn is not viewing it as organic anymore. They're kind of viewing it as invasive, and you've gone over the top. So it's important to keep that in mind. And sort of under blogging best practices, which we talked about before, the idea of using headlines, breaking things up into bite-sized chunks, using small blocks of text rather than very long paragraphs because they're less daunting to the human eye, things like that we can work in. I think that's largely it. So, I think, the way that I kind of envision this post is kind of the introduction, and then, as I mentioned, rather than being a collection, rather than being one secret to LinkedIn publisher, it's actually a combination of a lot of best practices. And so that's when it kind of then gets into the, relevant for your audience, blogging best practices in mind, image distribution, tagging, analytics and engagement, and that kind of stuff, timing.
Yeah.
So those would be the kind of headlines.
Yeah, subheads.
The subheads, exactly. Any questions?
No, I think this is a good post. Maybe a screenshot of the demographics, like how LinkedIn breaks that down.
Yeah, absolutely. So the analytics one?
Yeah, because that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I could do that right there, right? So it would show the actual visibility, and actually take this back last 30 days. Let's go 15.
Even the demographics too, if you're comfortable sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just how much we're going to be able to fit into one screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
We can do 2
demographics.
and
I don't know if we need the expanded view.
Nah.
I'd say probably that one there. I can always zoom out. It's just...
Yeah, well, we could do that as a chunk and that as a chunk. A screenshot.
I could do that full thing.
Yeah.
Because then it's actually showing. Do you think it's valuable to have it connect? I think it's valuable to have it connected to that post.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of promoting that post as well. Do you think this is? I'd say that's.
Yeah.
I'll give that a try. Should I capture LinkedIn in there as well, or just from here?
Just from there.
From here?
Yeah. I think people will know.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. Send that over to you. Any other screenshots?
Maybe.
Oh, the call to action.
Yeah, the CTA.
So what do you think, like this? So it shows it in the middle of the post?
Yeah.
Capture like from here to here?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I think like nice sort of tactical post, right? Really just focusing on like